and welcome to another video and another episode of the Get Pregnant With Me series. And I'm filming in my bedroom today. I don't think I've ever filmed in here before, but I am just trying to catch my breath because it is like 1,000,000 degrees outside. A bit of an exaggeration, it's maybe like 30 degrees, but it is sweltering and I've just got myself ready. And today I am going for my very first fertility appointment and I'm really nervous and I don't know what to expect. It is a fertility assessment, so my understanding is I'll have a blood test and an internal ultrasound, and this is basically in preparation for then seeing a consultant who will then decide where we go from there in terms of like fertility treatment. So it's a really big step today. A really big step, one that I was really hoping that we wouldn't need, but nevertheless I'm really thankful because I know that people wait a long time for these kind of appointments. So that I'd pick up my camera and just sort of like tell you what happens and what you can expect, because I feel like I'm in the dark and I haven't really seen anybody talk about what happens in these appointments. So I thought I would just let you know how it goes. And yeah, let's head to the hospital now. I will try and film some bits in the hospital, but they're usually really busy, so if I manage to get some clips then I'll insert them, but otherwise I'll update you when I get home if I've not melted in my car. I am back from my appointment and I'm sorry to complain about the heat again, but it's really hot and I'm trying to find the coolest spot in the house. But I think somebody else might have already found it. Hello? What are you doing under there? Is it nice and cool? Hey? Because she's all black, it's like even hotter for her, bless her. So she's hiding under the sofa. Anyway, let me set you up and I will talk you through what happened in my appointment. So I'm based in Manchester, so my appointment was at St Mary's Hospital and I had to go to two parts of St Mary's Hospital. So there's the old part and the new part. So I started in the old part. I had to go to the reception, check myself in, and I had to go down this little corridor and take a ticket number and wait for my blood test, which you can see here. And I had like general bloods done. I think she said like normal like white blood cell count, and I can't remember exactly what she said, like liver function. I think when they just do like a general blood test, like just like a general one, and they also checked my AMH, which I believe is your ovarian reserve, so like to see how many eggs that you've got. So they did that as well. And then I also had to do a chlamydia swab, which wasn't too bad. Like I just had to do it myself, which made it a lot better. Like I hate having like the speculum and all that kind of stuff, so I literally just had to go to the toilet and do that myself, so that was a lot better. So that's what I had. It was dead quick, the bloods. Waiting for the bloods was the longest part because there was other people in front of me, but the actual bloods was dead quick. So I will have my chlamydia test, I will have my blood test results, and then I had to collect a pink form from reception, which I had to fill out for both myself and my husband because he wasn't with me. And it was just asking questions like name, where you were born, and things like have you had IVF before, have you had IUI before, what's your weight, what's your smoking status, just general things like to register you. So I had to fill that out for the both of us and just wait for that motorbike to pass. So that was quite comforting actually, because I could sit and fill that in whilst I was waiting for my appointment because my blood was taking so long like waiting for them. So I just sat and filled that out whilst I was waiting, and then I handed that back into the receptionist before I left, and he said that once he's input that information, he's registered us, that is when my husband will receive a letter to go for his semen analysis, because I was stressing that I was going for tests, blood tests, ultrasounds, etc., but like he wasn't being asked to do anything, and I felt like if he wasn't being asked to do something, like it was going to delay the process. So he's now registered, they've got all our details, like doctor's details, everything, and they said that he will receive a letter in the next 2 to 3 weeks asking him to go for some tests as well. I don't know if he has to go for a blood test, because there was a man sat next to me waiting a blood test, so there could be other tests that he has to do outside of the semen analysis, but it was comforting to know a little bit more about the process. Like, I go first, I have my tests done, I register us, and then he has to go for his tests as well. So I left the old hospital, I went over to the new part of the hospital where I had my ultrasound, and it was a internal ultrasound. So the sonographer asked me to go and empty my bladder to come back in. So he called me in, and he said, we're going to do an internal scan, and we're just basically looking for, do your ovaries look healthy? Does your uterine lining look healthy? Is there anything else in terms of like cysts or fibroids, or basically anything that they could potentially see on an ultrasound that would suggest that it could potentially stop me getting pregnant. So it was really good because he spoke to me and I had a screen. I don't know if anybody else has ever been for an ultrasound scan. I went for one not that long ago, and they won't talk to you because they don't want to give you any results. It has to come from your doctor, and it wasn't like that. I could actually watch and see this time. So I could see that my ovaries were polycystic, like there was lots of follicles, but he said they weren't that bad. He was like, obviously there is more follicles there than normal, but he said, you know, in terms of like the range of polycystic ovaries, yours don't look that bad, which was nice to hear. I mentioned that I had an MRI previously, and that they said I had some thickening around my ovary, but he said that he couldn't see anything alarming from the ultrasound scan. And then he went from the right side and then moved to the left side, and I've been getting a lot of pain on my left side, especially around ovulation, stabbing, pulling. I mentioned this in my ovulation video, and when he was like moving the wand, I could feel pain. So we do think potentially there's something there, maybe endometriosis, but it didn't show on the scan as such. He kept putting like a contrast on it, like I didn't ask what it was though, and I'm not quite sure what that was picking up. But he said from what he could see, you know, outside of the realms of what I'd already told him, he couldn't see anything in addition to that. But I don't know if it's one of those where like they're not completely honest and it has to come from the consultant, so we'll just have to wait and see. So I did my bloods, I did my swabs, I did my ultrasound scan. He said he's going to type that up and then it will go to a consultant, and he said that we should receive a letter in the next 8 to 10 weeks inviting us to go for an appointment with the consultant to discuss the results, and I guess then we see where we go from there. So it was, I made it stressful because I didn't know what to expect. So I did find it quite stressful when I was in there, and then once I left it was a bit like, oh, like that was fine. If you're somebody who gets quite anxious, like take somebody with you. Like unfortunately my husband was working today, but yeah, you can take somebody with you and have them with you, like when you do the ultrasound and things like that. The only thing that got me, and I will be honest and say this, is where I went for my ultrasound scan, it was in the hospital where, you know, you go and have your midwife appointments and your 12-week scan, your 20-week scan, and being back there was quite triggering because I had my midwife appointment there when I was 8 weeks pregnant, and it was really, really sad. Like I felt myself tearing up because I was sat in a waiting room for an ultrasound scan with other women who were 12 weeks pregnant, 20 weeks pregnant, and they were getting their baby scan photos, and it hit me hard. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not usually that person. I'm really not usually that person. I'm so happy for other people, like when they're pregnant, because I know how difficult it is to get pregnant, but being surrounded by all those happy pregnant women, it really got me. So it's a shame that they, you know, they can't maybe separate that, but I understand. So the waiting room and waiting for my appointment, which was like 40 minutes late as well, it did get me, and I did get a little bit teary in there. But I just had to focus on the fact that, you know, they might have been through this process, you know, just because they've got a baby now, they might have struggled, they might have been through fertility, like, you just don't know, do you? So yeah, it was fine. I don't know why I worked myself up about it. He did also say, I've just remembered, I mentioned that it was ovulation day today, and he said that he thinks he could see on my left hand side where I had ovulated, so it was really positive to like get a bit of confirmation. But yeah, now we just wait. Now we just wait for my husband's analysis appointment letter to come through, and we just wait for our consultant appointment to come through. So if it's the 10th of August today, then yeah, we're looking at like probably like October, November before we see the consultant, which is fine. And we're going to keep trying in the meantime to get pregnant naturally, and you know, you just never know what's going to happen month to month. So yeah, I just wanted to do this video so that you know what to expect when you go for your first appointment, because I felt like I just had no idea, and I also feel like it's different in different places. So if you are from the Greater Manchester area then, and you are going to St Mary's, but I'm sure it's similar across other hospitals across Manchester, then that's what you can expect for your first appointment. So I'm going to take my battle scar. I really need to take this off because I'm allergic to the tape, and I'm going to go and put something on that's not so hot. And yeah, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I thought I was going to say this will be a short one, but typical of me, I always ramble. But yeah, I will end this video here, and hopefully I can give you an update soon on what's happening. But otherwise, I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.